Hey everyone, Grayson the Bard here, and welcome back to day 118 of the Hunt Day. And before we get into the hunt itself, I just wanted to thank everybody who came out to the test stream last night to help me work out some of the kinks in my streaming setup. Still some things I need to work on. Y'all who told me that my mic sounded a little off last night undersold it. I listened back to the VOD. It sounds like ass. I need to get that figured out and fixed immediately. That's the main big tech issue I gotta figure out, though. Everything else worked pretty smoothly aside from a rocky start, but we'll get there. I am confident that I will be able to have it ready to go by the end of this challenge. Again, thank everybody who came out last night. It was an absolute blast. I am reminded why I used to stream, and it definitely reminded me how much I missed it. So I will be doing it again. Get hyped and all that. But today we are fighting my absolute, well, I guess maybe not my absolute favorite, because that's still Garen Golem, but one of my favorite fights in Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. We are fighting Flaming Espinas today. And I will admit, I think a lot of the reason why I love Flaming Espinas so much has to do with the fact that I absolutely adore its weapons. One of my main builds in Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak is a 4A Hunting Horn Bard using the Flaming Espinas Hunting Horn. That thing is an absolute powerhouse. It is my favorite weapon in the game. It is technically dual element. It has fire and hidden poison, which I think is a great way to do that. And after playing Frontier and seeing how many of those weapons were dual element, I am so happy they brought that back for Rise and Sunbreak, and I really, really hope that that trend continues into the future of the series, because there are so many cool, element and status weapon combinations in Frontier that I would love to see make their way to the main line. So yeah, I think a lot of the reason I like Flaming Espinas and Espinas in general in Sunbreak was because of the novelty of it for me. It was my first exposure to a Frontier monster and the heat that those things could bring. And also I love its weapons, so I fought this thing a lot back when I was only playing Sunbreak. In terms of the fight itself, it is Espinas amped up to 11, with a few changes that I really appreciate. It, one, does not spend as long asleep at the start of the fight. It wakes up pretty early and rages pretty early, which means you don't have to deal with that weird kind of short middle ground period where it is not angry and its hide is really tough and you're bouncing a lot. You can get into the fight right away. That's a really good thing to do for arena fights like this. I also don't know if it was just this fight that I did today, or if it is, Flaming Espinas in general, but I feel like Flaming Espinas does not charge around the arena as much, whereas regular Espinas will, spend pretty much the entire fight dashing back and forth trying to beat you up that way. Flaming Espinas is a lot more varied in its moveset. It does a lot more projectile-based attacks more frequently. It uses its tail and its jump slams a lot more. And then of course it has the goofy chicken walk fireball, which is just so fun. Aesthetically, I like regular Espinas more. And even then, regular Espinas is not my favorite visually of the Espinas trio, but we did not get white Espinas in Monster Hunter Rise. Only in Frontier, but white Espinas is amazing. But I still really like the look of Flaming Espinas. I think the dark brown with the orange spikes and then the that bright neon lava glow that comes through when it gets enraged, it is a really good look. My only complaint with Flaming Espinas is a complaint I have with a lot of the monsters they added at the end of Sunbreak. Flaming Espinas, Lucent Nargacuga, the silver and gold rafts, and all four of those monsters, until much later in the life cycle of Sunbreak, you could only fight them in this tower map, which is fine. It's a good map. It's a really fun area to fight the monsters in. But I loved how once you started doing anomaly quests and things like that, they started putting these rare exotic subspecies monsters into the actual maps in the game, because that's where I enjoy fighting the most. The arenas are fine, the arenas are fun, they have their purpose, they're good every once in a while, But, like, running around the actual locales and, you know, fighting the monsters there feels much more Monster Hunter and feels a lot more fun. So, for most of Flaming Espinas' life cycle, I didn't like that it was stuck on this tower map. But then, once they started adding it into the actual biomes in the game, I was a lot happier. One of the commenters in a recent video asked if I had been keeping track of what I have been saying for all of the monsters, to how likely they are to return in Wilds, and I have not. I should have been, because I don't remember what I said for Espinas. I think it was pretty high, because I think, like, Espinas is the flagship of Frontier. They're making an effort to add more Frontier monsters into the games. So I think, like, if Espinas comes back, I think Flaming Espinas is likely to come back as well, just because, you know, like, the duology and all that. So I would say, like, for Flaming Espinas, I'm going to say, like, a middle of the road, like, 4 or 5 to come back, just because it's dependent on if regular Espinas comes back more than anything in Monster Hunter Wilds. And the way I feel right now, and this Monday morning, is that I don't know how likely Flaming Espinas is to, or regular Espinas is to come back. It's kind of middle of the road for me too. So, but I think in the future, Espinas is a flagship. They're making an effort to put Frontier monsters into the game. All of those things combined mean that, like, Flaming Espinas has a huge chance to come back in a future title. So I'm going to say a 10 out of 10. We are going to see Flaming Espinas again. All right, a bit of a shorter ramble this morning. I am a lot busier than I realized today, so I need to get going. But thank you all so much for watching. Please stick around until the end of the hunt if you can. Like, comment, and subscribe if you want to. Don't if you don't. We are officially, as of today, in the 30s for days until Monster Hunter Wilds. 39 days. It is fast approaching, my friends, and soon my grim vigil will be ended and I'll be able to see all the cool monsters that I have been avoiding like the plague. Yahoo! I am not normally one to beg for subscribers, and I'm going to continue to only do it very infrequently, but I do think it would be fun to get to 600 before Monster Hunter Wilds drops, so if you like what you see and are not already subscribed, please do. If you don't want to, that's fine too. And until next time, I'll see you next time.
trust you hit your targets?